6,000 people in the UK pay income tax on over £2 million a year. That figure came from The Guardian in 2014. The numbers are growing. Now, why is this important? People who earn a lot of money, the truly rich, think about money differently. They enjoy making money. They enjoy spending money. They use their money differently. They will happily borrow in order to make investments. They spend for things that they want to enjoy personally out of disposable income. Disposable income at levels much higher than you may currently think as reasonable. And also there is a confidence in those purchases because they know how to make money, they know how to borrow money to make money pretty reliably and consistently. They're not too worried about spending the money they've got on something that has real value to them. So let's take a look again at the example of the cake. And obviously one area where cakes have more value than just something nice to have with your tea is where it's a special occasion cake. So I'm going to take an example inspired by attending a friend's wedding at the end of last year, where her father is a very successful businessman. He's built up his business practice over the last 45 years. He only has one daughter, got 3 sons, but one daughter. And he's been hoping that she would find somebody she really wanted to marry, now for years. In fact, I think he'd probably given up and just accepted that what she loved doing was creating her own business. But she found someone she describes as her soulmate, and she got married last December. Now obviously at a wedding there's a lot of things that one pays out for. There's the cake, there's the dress, there's the venue, there's the food for the guests, there's the travel, there's the outfits for all the family. It's quite an extensive list, but the cake's an important part. The cake is often a feature of the photographs. It may be sitting there in the room for right the way through the meal until you have the final cutting of the cake. So it is an important part of the overall presentation and the memory of the event. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start to put some figures around that untangible of the value of the wedding, and from that we're going to look at in the next video how to establish a price for your cake. But this very simple activity, we're looking at your understanding, which comes out of the questions you were asking last time, and then is therefore creating a mechanism by which we can start to put some tangible figures on things. So, in this particular scenario, the father, the successful business, has one daughter. So at one level, the value of her wedding and having it going perfectly for her, it's priceless. And not only is it priceless, but he's been waiting a good 10-15 years for this moment to arrive. He certainly hopes that she's only going to get married once. So this is a complete one-off. It's a one-off occasion to create these very special memories, but also for it to be a superbly happy day for everyone involved. Now at this wedding there were 250 guests, and the split was as follows. About 60% of those guests were invited because they were business friends and acquaintances. Yes, people who'd become sufficiently long-term friends to be invited to the wedding, but nonetheless the initial connection was primarily a commercial one. The next category of guests was family. They made up for about 30% of the guests. And then finally there was the last category, people who were friends. No obligation particularly to invite them, but nonetheless people that they he wanted there, his family wanted to have them there to join in this very special occasion. So basically what I have done is I've created two columns. I've created a column that says the types of the guests, the numbers, the percentages, and recognised the understanding in terms of business guests. One of the potential values of that is it's increasing the relationship, it's perhaps deepening the relationship with those business contacts. The knock-on consequence being ongoing revenue and income from them from the following years. Now I'm going to assume, for the purpose of my calculations, that each one of those business guests is worth about £5,000 in revenue, income, to the father over the coming year. Now bear in mind that actually it's probably not just a single year, but we'll take 5,000 to be conservative. Then we have the next category of guests. We had family. Now, what's the value of having family there? Well, it's about ongoing friendships, ongoing connections, maybe a bit of duty and responsibility. I'm going to make an assumption that because he's a successful gentleman and he's got loyalty to his family, he's quite comfortable in spending 50 quid a head for a special event for each of those family members. And the reason, the understanding, is about ongoing loyalty to family, reinforcing family connections. The third category was friends. The understanding there is that these are people that he truly likes, he admires, he respects, he wants them to be there, he wants them to have a special occasion, a special memory, to be part of something that's very important to him. Okay? In terms of the monetisation, what I put in my money column here is that I said, let's assume he's willing to spend £100 a head on those people, because these are people to whom there is maybe no obligation. It is just deep human connection. So, hopefully that's given you a sense how to use these two columns. So now it's over to you. Can you take a piece of paper, and I want you to draw two columns on it. The first column, please head understanding. And the second column, please head monetize or money. Now take a moment and, based on the understanding you have gained from the questions you generated last time and have hopefully asked, put on each line one aspect of understanding of the true value of your product or service to your customer. Now over to you. Very good. Are there a couple more categories you ought to jot down? Okay. If you've done that, now move over to the money column and just write in some of your assumptions against each of those categories. For me, remember, in the first column I had an assumption about the revenue that each of the business guests would bring. So you're making your own assumptions, either about value gained or unpleasant activities or unpleasant costs avoided. I'm going to go silent and let you fill in your money column. Great. I'm going to leave you to finish working out those 2 columns, and I'll see you on the next video.